The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Kolar Arms, America's competition shotgun, and is fueled by Fiocchi.
Welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast, coming in hot with everything you want to hear about sporting clays. With your hosts, Jason Rambo.
This is what I have to work with, everyone.
And Sean Alley.
Like I said, I was just thirsty.
Oh, boy.
Often imitated, but never duplicated. It's the Dead Pair Podcast. It's showtime.
Welcome back, everyone. What's up there, Mr. Alley?
Jason, doing good, buddy. I tell you what, the seasons are changing quickly up here. It's starting to smell and look like fall.
How can I say this politely? Sucks being you.
Just don't say it. Just don't say it. That's how you be polite. Don't say it at all. Yeah, it'll be snow on the ground before I want it. I know that. Dude,
I saw something on the news the other day, and this is going to affect everybody in the shooting world. I saw that, they're calling for wildly unseasonable cold weather up north. Like, if you look at, where the jet stream goes through the United States, kind of cuts through the middle of it, they're saying everybody north of that line is going to get, 10 to 15 degree cooler temperatures this year than
we are already seeing it. Like I said, over the weekend, it was in the high 40s, low 50s, waking up in the morning, and it was barely creeping up into the low 70s. So it's very much late September, early October type weather versus late August, early September, which is where we're at. So,
I was talking to, I think it was Chad the other day, or it's been a while ago, maybe actually I was talking to about it, but have you seen that new ice bath little thing you can buy where you get down in 32 degree water?
Oh, the cold plunge tanks.
Yeah, it's not a challenge. It's people do this every day or whatever.
Yeah, it's a health thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And Chad's you need to get you one of those. So let me tell you something, bud. I moved 1,000 miles across country to not be cold again. You think I'm going to buy one of those to put in my backyard?
Yeah, I got a creek by the house. I can go dunk myself in that. It's cold enough.
It's not happening.
Just chip the ice off and jump on in and join the Polar Bear Club.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Sean, I think we've only got one tourney talk this week.
Take it.
It's Tourney Talk. Brought to you by Score Chaser.
All right, folks, I'm taking this one because it was sent to me directly. Appreciate folks sending it out. The Alabama Trail Championship is September 27th. I know it's kind of coming in a little bit late, but they have got all kinds of, they've got 2 courses set up, all kinds of prizes and stuff, tons of sponsors involved. This will be at Bright Star Sporting Clays in Horton, Alabama. You can get registered on Score Chaser. Again, the date is the 27th of September, 2025. And the first rotation starts at 9 a.m. So get signed up for that, man. They've got a ton of cool prizes and stuff. They got some good money going back to class and for guaranteed money also. I think they're doing $25 back to class, plus they got another $5,000 in payouts. So
nice.
Cool little tournament they got set up there, man. If you got a chance and you're in the area, get on that.
Good deal.
Go ahead, Sean.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of other news, a reminder, the deadline is approaching quickly. We're going to be giving away that beautiful Kolar shotgun at the National. So we're going to draw it there, guys, and have probably a live YouTube feed going on when we actually pull the winner. Somebody's going to be really, really happy. So in other words, you better get a ticket now before you forget. You can do that on our Dead Pair page. There's a link up there to take you to the Kids and Clays website where you can purchase tickets. We'll also have physical tickets to buy there at the Nationals if you just need to do that real quick. And at the Kolar booth, they'll have tickets as well.
I think, Sean, if memory serves me correct, I think we were going to sell tickets right up through Saturday evening, and then Sunday we were going to cut it off and do the drawing. Is that correct?
I think so. We just got to look at downloading the database and printing off the tickets and making sure we have enough time to get all that accomplished. But we'll make it happen one way or the other. But there'll definitely be a cutoff the day before we draw it. So, and just so everybody knows, we are going to be doing that, like Sean said, on our YouTube. Our YouTube page will be live. So if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And then that'll pop up in your feed as it comes live. When we get a little bit closer, we'll announce a time that we're going to do it on that Sunday. And then also, too, if you listen to Apple Podcasts, man, leave us, if you could, please be so nice to leave us a positive review.
Haven't had any of those in a while. We appreciate that. That helps us with our rankings.
You mean we haven't any positive reviews, just negative ones, or what are you saying?
No, we haven't had any reviews.
We
don't want negative reviews, please. If we're doing something wrong and you don't like it, email us and let us know. Look, give us a chance to fix it before you put it in stone. So, but
got it.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. And one more thing, I want to plug the promotion for Taconic Distilleries and RE Ranger is still active. That coupon code is DEADPAIR10, DEADPAIR 10. And that code will get you a 10% discount, both at RE Ranger and Taconic Distilleries. If you want to support our sponsors, we would appreciate it.
Yeah, we need to get a hold of them, Sean. I think I want to do a little contest with all of our sponsors, maybe before the end of the year.
Yeah,
we'll do some kind of contest, and we'll throw in a little something from all the sponsors. I don't know what that would be or what they're willing to do.
Little prize package you're talking about?
Little prize package. I think it'd be fun.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
I think people enjoy that. Sean, we've had a ton of emails about stuff that we've covered in a bunch of different episodes, and I get it, right? There's more people that are coming into the sport every day, and they find the podcast, and I don't know, I guess it's just easier to email us than going back through some of those old episodes and listening.
Right.
So you and I talked, and we agreed, let's just cover some of the basic stuff on gear. Now, we dive a little deeper on stuff. The 3-part series we did on the Path, look that up on all of our podcast directories. You can find the Path series that we did. And then also Novice to Masters, which was a 3-part series we did earlier this year. We went in depth on a lot of it, but I think, Sean, you had some good talking points on some gear things. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, and I think, and again, so for you guys out there, the experienced shooters, this is probably going to be a little bit of a snoozer, maybe, for you guys. But there's so many new folks coming into the sport, and we see it all over, Facebook forums and other discussion groups where people are asking a lot of the basic questions. What type of gun should I get? What kind of choke should I use? What kind of ammo should I use? Jason and I just thought we could touch briefly on this with our experience, because we did start out at one point once we got into the competition side of this game. And we went all kinds of different directions, Jason, buying every little whiz bang and doodad out there thinking it was going to make us better shooters. Yeah. The reality of it is, you can spend a lot of money the wrong ways. And we've talked about that before as well. Mm-hmm. So we kind of wanted to do a streamlined list of, if you're a new shooter, maybe you got taken to a charity event, or maybe a buddy took you out to the course. You've kind of got the itch. You've kind of got the bug. You want to go get your own gun. Kind of want to know what you need to be looking for as far as the gear, shells, eye protection, things like that, and not break the bank doing it, right? We're not talking about going off and getting a $15,000 Krieg off to start, right?
It's kind of like a summary of our rapid fire that we do when we have a new shooter on for the first time.
Yes, yes.
But you said it's snoozer, not necessarily, because I don't care, even if you have been shooting for 20 years, you think you got your gear figured out, maybe we can raise a point that you didn't think of, and maybe you might change something.
Well, fair enough. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, so I'll take that back.
And by the way, we've got Kevin DeMichiel. He's going to be ready here in about 20 minutes. We'll get him on for a segment for questions for the coaches.
Nice.
Hey, by the way, on that note, real quick announcement, Sean, before we dive into this. Sean and I were talking. We haven't done a lot of questions for the coaches lately, and it's like, you know what? Let's reach out. Let's have everybody reach out to us that has a questions for a coach. Doesn't matter who it is. And we're going to do maybe we'll do a 2-part series if we get enough questions. And we'll dial up your favorite pro and get them on and ask them these questions. So, if you have a question lingering in your mind, send it to us. We're real easy to get a hold of. You can go to our website, hit the contact button. You can send us a direct email there. You can find us all over social media.
Yep.
You can even do it through YouTube. I don't care. We're easy to get a hold of. I'll throw it out there. My direct email is rambo@reagan.com. That's RAMBO @REAGAN.com. Of course, if you're in the market for a trap, I can help you out with that too.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, if you have a questions for a coach, something you've been bothering you, maybe you don't have a direct coach to talk to, maybe you'd like a second opinion. Even if you want to remain anonymous, that's fine. Send us your question. We'll get it answered.
Yeah. And you guys can email me directly, Sean A @thedeadpair.com. And that's SEAN, the letter A @thedeadpair.com, and I'll be happy to put those questions in. What we're trying to do is come up with kind of a compendium of a bunch of questions, a bunch of different coaches, maybe get 4, 5, 6 different coaches on to answer all these different questions. And if it goes big enough, we might put a double series on it, or a double episode on it. But let's see what we get first. And don't be afraid. Ask those questions. We'll get them answered for you.
What did you call that? A compendium?
A like a compendium. Yeah. Like an encyclopedia.
Sean Alley, don't you be using big words on me, my friend.
I'm sorry.
Just don't do it.
I'm sorry.
I don't know if, you and the wife have been having dictionary night once in a while or something, but that's enough.
That's only in November. So.
All right, let's get moving on here. All right, Sean. So one of the things you brought up was an auto versus an over-under. And everybody needs to understand this is only opinion-based, okay? There's no right or wrong answer here, okay? Nobody's going to walk up to Joe Finizzi and tell him, hey, you could have won the national championship shooting an over-under. You know why? Because he won it with an auto.
That's right.
So, and there's been a lot of national championships won with an auto. But there are pros and cons to both. And Sean, one of the biggest things is a price point.
Yes.
You get into let's just say a decent over under, you're probably going to be double what you'd be into for like a good A400 Beretta auto, right?
That's right. And I think for people starting out, the important thing is, again, you got bit by the bug. Now you're thinking, I'm going to go get my own gun. Or, hey, maybe on the other hand, you're a hunter and you already have like a decent auto that you use for duck hunting or dove hunting or something like that. You can get away with that for a little while until you kind of figure out if you're going to get super serious about the game. But as far as the price point goes, you can pick up, used autos for maybe somewhere between, $1,000 and $1,500. New ones are probably in that $1,500 to $1,800 range these days. Whereas when you get into an over-under, like the most popular, the next level up is going to be like a Browning Satori or a Beretta 686, 687 series. Those are starting to push that $2,500 to $3,000 mark. And again, it's been a while since I've shot for those, but that should be about where you're at. So yeah, you're just about double to get the over-under. And we've talked before real quickly, advantages. The auto is going to be lighter. It's going to be cheaper. It is usually typically a little more maintenance to clean and take care of, whereas the over-under is going to be a little more sturdy, a little more well-built, less maintenance on the after shoot type of thing. Not so much worried about getting it super, super clean. But again, I guess it's up to you. Some people prefer autos. Some people prefer over-unders. It's a preference thing. But you don't have to break the bank and go out there and buy a really expensive over-under to start shooting this game, especially if you're getting started, because you want to know that you're going to be hooked on the game. If you're going to be playing it for a while, then you can always upgrade down the road. But start with a decent quality gun will be a good investment, and it's going to hold its value if down the road you decide to get rid of it, right?
Yeah, look, there's less moving parts in an over-under.
Yes.
Okay. So obviously the reliability is going to be there. But you know what? Hey, listen, I shoot with my buddy Art Lavely, who's part of the MAGA movement, which stands for Make Autos Great Again. The man just absolutely swears by his A400. And you know what? He gets it done. Don't be surprised when you see him winning a local tournament here in Florida.
Yeah.
Seriously. The guy's that good. He is a phenomenal shooter.
Yep.
And then, the other part of the MAGA movement, Matt Miller, just dropped his auto and went to an over-under. So, there's an argument both ways. There really is. And if you shoot with these guys and one shooting an auto, one shooting over-under, you can't tell what they're shooting because those targets are disintegrating. It's a matter of preference. It's what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, and another thing to point out too, for those that aren't experienced and those are kind of new to the sport and new to the firearm scene, there's also a difference between what they consider a field grade gun and a target grade gun. Yes. And those are both in the auto and the over-under series. So you might have a Beretta 400 series that was meant for hunting, but they do make a specific model for target shooting. And the same thing goes for over-under. So you can get lighter weight field models that are meant to, throw over your shoulder and walk miles through the woods when you're chasing grouse and geese and stuff like that.
And they're also capable of handling a larger shell.
That's right.
A lot of times, if you put a lighter load, meaning like, an ounce or ounce and an eighth with a lower speed to it, that we shoot in sporting clays, sometimes they won't cycle real well.
That's right.
Because those things are meant for, those hunting guns are meant for 3-inch mags or whatever. You're not going to go duck hunting with a 1 ounce load of 8s, right? I mean,
no,
maybe you do. I don't know, but
no, I don't. I don't think that'd be real effective. I mean,
no,
I guess you could, but
no. But I mean, there's a difference. So if you're going to go out and buy a firearm, buy something that's meant to cycle a lot of light loads, like a sporting clays gun is.
Right.
Buy something that's specific for target shooting is what I'm getting at.
Yep. And, on that topic right there, another big hot point for everybody to discuss is, what do I shoot? What kind of shells do I shoot? Right. I mean, there's the 7.5 versus 8 discussion. And then there's also the 1 ounce versus 1.1 ounce discussion. And Jason, you and I have gone back and forth over the years, and we've gone all kinds of different ways. I think originally when I started off, I was a big 7.5 fan. You switched to 8s earlier than I did, and now I've gone to 8s, and I'm also using. I mean, it's a mixed bag, right? It's what you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, and let me throw something going. I want to go backwards for a second, Sean. You kind of got off the gun thing real quick, but
sorry.
No, it's okay. I thought of something right as you were going into the shells. Is the higher end guns. Now, Sean and I are biased. We shoot Kolars. We love our Kolars.
Yeah.
Understand when you get into a more expensive over-under, Kolar, Krieghoff, Perazzi, whatever. Those guns are meant to fire millions of rounds. I mean, they're meant to be serviced once a year and keep on trucking.
Right.
Okay. But there's also some prestige things to them too. There's a little bit of pride. It comes with, that's where your engraving comes in, your fancier wood, your gold inlay, all that kind of stuff. And if you have the capability of making that kind of investment, do your homework. Again, we strongly urge that, because we're biased, we strongly urge that you check out a Kolar. But there are a lot of good high-end firearms out there. There really is.
Yep.
But just do your homework and make sure no matter what you buy, it fits you, for crying out loud. That is the most important thing in the world.
Yeah.
Make sure the gun fits you. But I know a lot of people are probably scratching their heads. And that's why I wanted to go back to that subject, Sean, is a lot of people are scratching their heads going, what are you guys talking about autos for? Don't you shoot Kolars? Yeah, we do. But we started off with autos.
That's right.
And there's nothing wrong with an auto.
No.
And I don't, this is all opinion based. It's all subjective to what your opinion is, but we just want you to understand what's available out there.
Right. And in addition to that, one more thing I'll say, a lot of these bigger shoots like the Nationals and some of the bigger blast events and regionals will have guns there that can be loaners, and they'll actually let you demo these guns, take them out and shoot them. So if you're on the fence, you're not really sure about what you want, make sure you go get a chance to shoot these things before you buy them, because it is an expensive proposition to lay the money out to buy one of these guns, even if it is just a $1,500 auto. Go shoot it and make sure that's what you want. I mean, be comfortable with it. Feel like it. Yeah, this is going to work for me. Or it might say, well, no, I don't like the way this works. I don't like the movement of the of the auto. So I want to go to an over under. So, try it out, because buyer's remorse is terrible. And again, these things are expensive, and it's not something that you want to just, willy nilly make a decision on and take one home and say, maybe I made a mistake. That'd be the bad thing to do.
And one more thing real quick about the gun is, the barrel length, 30 or 32. Now they have 34s. Do you want a high rib, a mid rib, a flat rib? Porting, we're biased. We love our Rhino porting. And there's a lot of top pros that are not sponsored by Rhino that have their guns ported by Rhino. There's a reason for that.
Yes.
Okay. It's not just drilling a whole bunch of holes in it like some of these gun manufacturers have done in the past. There is true reasons for good porting. But the high rib versus mid rib versus flat rib, that's kind of a preference thing. And I think you can hear a lot of arguments both ways. Kevin DeMichiel, who we're going to have on here shortly, still shoots a high rib. Bill McGuire still shoots a high rib. Gavin Miles still shoots a high rib.
I shot a high rib for a long time and then went to a mid rib. And
right.
I mean, you can have your mind and eyes and body adjust to any type of rib. But again, if you're coming from a hunting background, most of the time you're shooting a flat rib gun, right? I mean, that's what people are probably most familiar with. So when you get into the target guns, that's where you get a little more selection in your rib variation. And there's pros and cons for each setup, just like Jason said. But do your homework, try them out. You might think you want a high rib, go shoot one for a little while, and you may decide that that's not for you.
Right. And then again, another thing about the gun is chokes.
Yeah.
Now look, opinions on chokes are going to run about as deep on opinions of everything else in the world there is.
Yep.
But again, we're biased with Rhino, but you need to test the chokes in your gun for the ammo that you're going to shoot.
That's right.
Because I will tell you right now what pattern's great in my Kolar with my restrictions that I like and the chokes that I like and the ammo that I run is not going to pattern the same as your, I don't know, Browning 725.
Right.
Okay. So experiment with chokes, experiment with restrictions, experiment with ammo, and find what works best for you. Don't spend all day on the patterning board, for crying out loud. Go shoot. Go shoot some targets. And I think, Sean, you and I figured out what the pros were talking about a long time ago. You can really get a lot of feed off of your breaks.
Yes. And that's another thing. I mean, like for you guys that are new to the game, you guys and gals that are new to the game, it's typically accepted that you shoot a more open choke when you're starting this game to get you kind of a little bit of a wider pattern. But as you progress and you become more experienced, you'll find that people that have been shooting longer tend to tighten their chokes down. And what that does is gives you a little bit tighter, a little more precise feel to the gun. And as you're watching your breaks, and that, again, that comes with experience. As you watching your breaks, you'll feed off of that and you'll say, okay, I'm dirtballing that thing, or I'm just nicking it, and you'll kind of learn whether or not you're hitting that target dead center or not. And again,
right.
A more open choke, like an improved cylinder, or something like that, a skeet choke, at closer ranges, it's going to be just fine. But then once you start stretching out to those 40, 50, 60 yard targets, it may not be able to keep that pattern together tight enough anyways. So learning to shoot a little bit tighter choke is always going to be beneficial for the longer birds.
Yeah. And then Sean, you brought up shells, and let's start with this. Ounce versus ounce and an eighth. I will tell you that it is my belief, and it's just my opinion and my belief, that you should shoot what you can shoot. How do I phrase this? You should shoot what you can shoot 200 rounds in a day and not feel anything.
Yes.
Okay. So if the gun fits you truly properly, you should be able to handle an ounce and an eighth load or a 1 ounce 1300 or whatever, right? But if you're feeling a little sore at the end of the day, maybe that's too heavy of a load for you. I mean, if you go back to, like, I know Skeet did it where they lowered, the weight that you can run in a shell. They basically went to about, what is it, Sean? It's a 24 gram or something like that. What is it? I don't remember.
I forget what the exact measurement is in, like, the grams or whatever, but
yeah, but it's basically a 7/8 ounce load, and the scores went up.
Yeah,
because they're not feeling that recoil. So, and there's arguments both ways on speed and on load. I personally love the ounce and an eighth little rhinos, ounce and eighth white rhinos. I started shooting the white rhino lights, which are ounce and eighth 1200, and they feel just like the 1 ounce little rhinos, which is 1 ounce 1250.
Yeah.
And I love that shell. It's a great shell. I really love it. And I still go back and forth between the white rhino lights and the full-on 1250 ounce and eighth white rhinos. So, and as far as 7.5s or 8s go, oh my gosh, Sean, you're opening Pandora's box if you're going to ask that question.
Well, I mean, again, there's always discussion. It's always been a hot topic. And again, it's personal preference. And a lot of guys will try to simplify and just use one shell, one speed, one shot. And then there are a lot of people that carry 7.5s in one pocket, 8s in the other, just in case they got a rabbit or something like that, or a really, really long bird, and they want to pull out that 7.5 just for a little bit of a confidence booster. Not sure on the mathematics scale how it equates to breaking birds, but sometimes just having that little bit of a confidence booster when you're shooting at a target like that can mean the difference between breaking it and not breaking it. And also, while we're still talking about shells, Jason, you and I have seen plenty of the older guys at Eagle's Nest that load their own shells, shooting 7/8 ounce loads and smacking those things at Dan Bailey's FTAS targets, which are no joke. So a lot of it has to do with, the shooter pointing the gun in the right place and putting the shot in the right place, not so much an extra eighth ounce or whatever of shot is going to make that big of a difference. If you're moving the gun right and you're putting it where it needs to be, it'll break. So don't get hung up on more BBs is better. It never hurts to have extra BBs, and I'll never argue against that. But if you know what you're doing, you don't need all of it. And for some of those guys, especially the older guys, they like that less recoil, and it's a little bit more manageable. Like you said, with the skeet team, the scores will actually go up just because there's less recoil to deal with.
Right. Of course, we hope you at least try the Fiocchis. The white rhinos and little rhinos are awesome. But,
yep.
Sean, you made a good point. We were talking before we got on the podcast here. You really don't, if you're just starting out, you really don't need a competition load to get started. I mean, you can shoot, again, Fiocchi makes the shooting dynamics.
Yep.
Which is a great practice load. And I've seen people break stuff out extreme distances with just that shell. And if Fiocchi's not available to you, you can get a hold of us. We'll put you in touch with the right people so your club can carry them. But if let's say for whatever reason you don't want to shoot Fiocchi, there's a lot of good target loads out there that are less expensive.
Yep.
You can go to Walmart, pick them up. Whatever, there's the Remington gun clubs are good shells.
Yep.
For practice. But my point is make sure whatever you're getting is not going to leave. If you got a bruised shoulder, number one, your gun doesn't fit, and number two, you're probably shooting too heavy of a load.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you're of a smaller stature, you're a woman or a youth shooter, you don't need an ounce and 1250 to break that target.
Nope.
I mean, you should be shooting an ounce 1200, at the most. I mean, that's plenty of shell.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a clay target. It's not, you're not shooting at a bank vault flying through the air. Just consider that.
I think that's another good point too. Also, it's the application, right? Because let's face it, if you're just going to your local tournament, chances are there might be a few big birds where a hotter shell or a bigger shell would be an advantage, and maybe have a handful of those in one of your pockets just in case. But anything inside 35 yards, most basic, economy shells are going to do the job and not have too much problems. I guess the other thing I would throw in there is watch what your gun looks like after you get done shooting it. Some of these shells, the cheaper shells, run a little bit dirty. So I've noticed, like, especially with the Fiocchi shooting dynamics, they're pretty clean. I don't really see too much residue, but I've seen, not going to name any names, but I've seen some other brands that make your barrel look like it's been, drugged through a fire pit or something with dust and all kinds of stuff in the barrel. So, make sure that when you're shooting these cheaper shells that you're not doing any harm to the gun by, getting it extra dirty or having to clean it extra, because that's going to kind of outweigh the cost savings for the shells.
Yeah. Moving on from that, Sean, I guess the next thing on the gear list would be ear protection.
Oh, boy.
And again, I know all of this stuff is just opinion based. I mean, look, Wendell Cherry's been shooting this game for, over 25 years. She still uses foam twisties because that's what he likes. That's what he wants to use.
Right. And
that's all I used when we started. And Sean, you can attest to this. I fought it like hell. I did not want electronic carrying protection. Okay. Number one, the cost. Number two, I'm really weird about distractions, and I didn't want to hear things, right? I want to be zoned out. And then I tried them. Today, I don't think, I probably could, but I would not want to shoot a tournament without my Odo Pros, which is the Sound Gear Phantoms. Right. And I absolutely love them. I love the fact that I can hear the trapper. I love the fact that I can hear the trap. I don't care if it's at 50 yards hiding behind a bush. When I call pull, I can hear that thing release.
Right.
We can have a conversation without yelling. I could stand out of the box while the rest of the squad's shooting, and I can whisper something to Sean, and he can hear me.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me. It's like anybody that wears the foam twisty earplugs, you can almost immediately tell that they are, because they're talking like 2 times louder than they normally would, so that they can hear you and you hear them. But when you wear the electronic ears, one nice advantage is, like, you can talk in normal tones and not be shouting at anybody, and they can hear you clear as day.
I think the last time we shot together, Sean, I forget who it was on our squad. They had foam twisties in. I just looked at them like, why are you yelling at me? Because we've got the electronic ears in, right? Like, we can have a conversation like we're having right now.
Stop shouting at me.
Dude, why are you yelling at me?
No, and I caught myself doing that too, man. back in the day before we switched to our electronic ears. I mean, it's like once you switch over, it's like, oh, I don't need to talk as loud. I can just talk like this and you can hear me just fine. It's crazy, but it's an added expense. It's a little bit of a luxury item, but I think at the same time, again, if you're getting serious with the sport, you're going to be doing it for years. It's a good investment. I'm not going to argue. It's a good investment, a little bit pricey, but definitely good investment with some good benefits to it.
Yeah. The next thing on the list here is eye protection. And again, this is Pandora's box. You're going to get a lot of opinions in a lot of different directions, but again, we're biased. We love Ranger shooting eyewear. I mean, we absolutely love RE Ranger. They've been with us from the beginning. They've got very, very high quality products that aren't going to break the bank. And they've got different levels, for what you want to spend and what you're going to get.
Right.
Now, Sean and I both shoot the Ranger Reacts, full believers in them. And if you're like me and you need corrective lenses, now I switched to contacts. So I'm shooting just the regular off the shelf, Ranger Reacts lenses. They are, I don't want to get murdered. They are coming. Okay. The prescription Reacts are coming. Now, if you don't need or want the Reacts, you're not worried about that, you can get the regular Rangers that they sell for competition and have those made into prescription lenses. I've done that. And, I've sent them out and had them done and they came back awesome. I really loved them. But understand that if you scratch one of those lenses and that's a prescription lens, you can't run down and just to a vendor and get another set of Rangers to snap in there.
Right.
So consider that and think about that too. If you are shooting with corrective lens, like myself, I've got contacts in. I always carry, that's a big thing for me is I carry extra contacts with me. And I also switched to dailies, just a little quick tidbit. That was probably the best thing I've ever done. When I switched to daily contacts versus the monthlies, that's, you're always cleaning them and it always feels like there's something in your eye. And then you get out somewhere where it's dusty and windy and it's just like, you can't see anything. My eyes were watering and the whole time felt like I was having a hay fever, but yeah. So just think about there's things to think about, when you're going to go out and shoot.
Yeah. And I was also going to mention too, real quick, Jason. So like, again, for the people that are starting out, again, you might not be able to justify. And I was one of those guys too. I was a big, like, how in the world can I justify spending this amount of money on glasses? Well, so you can go to any, sporting goods store that sells firearms and firearm accessories and pick up any kind of a safety glasses because that's what it does, right? I mean, it protects your eyes from shot and particles of clay coming off of brakes and stuff like that. But when you get a little more into it and you realize how much color affects the way your mind works and how you see targets, and if you actually put on a good pair of shooting glasses that are attuned to like make the orange of the clay emphasized, your eyes are going to pick up on it more. And you don't have to go all out. I mean, the Reacts are the top of the line for Ranger, and they're one of my best glasses out there. But you could start off even with a pair of dusters, which are like, what, $100, Jason, or something like $129 bucks?
Yeah, they got a real low price point. And then, of course, the new ones that they came out with that have the quick interchange lenses, Sean,
yes,
help me out here. They are the...
they have the magnetic frames on them. Gosh.
Super shots. Super shots.
Super shots. That's it. That's
yes, it. Those are good. Now, I want everybody to pick up on something that Sean just said, and that goes into these super shots and even the dusters and, of course, the Reacts. But all of these are, not only are they premium shooting glasses, but they're safety glasses. That's a big thing, okay? Like, if you're at a tournament somewhere and somebody's gun, God forbid, blows you into the barrel off or something. I mean, I've seen people that shoot incoming targets and a target chip come flying into the box and hit somebody in the eye. You know what I mean? So a good pair of safety glasses is very important. As far as, like Sean was saying, color and all that, I would worry more about, just remember I said this, I would worry more about clarity than I would contrast.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay? If you can clearly see that target in whatever the lighting condition is, that's more important than contrast, in my opinion.
And a lot of that's going to differ based on where you guys are located. I mean, if you're in the Midwest here where there's a lot of green backgrounds and you shoot a lot in the trees, there are certain colors like the purples and stuff that work better. Meanwhile, if you're out west and you're looking up in bluebird skies, a lot of the browner and darker lenses do better there. So it really depends on where you're at. And I'm sure down in Florida, Jason, you've realized your lenses are a little different choices than they were when you were living in Ohio.
Oh, absolutely. And it's, you know what? It's funny because, it's bright and sunny here. So you would think, okay, no big deal, just a darker lens. It's still, man, the best person to explain this is Chad Roberts, because when you go out to California and you get that, whatever that haze crap is, the June gloom or June doom or whatever the hell they call it, bloom or whatever, that, man, it makes targets look funny. I'm telling you, the depth perception just goes wackadoodle. So yeah, lens choice is important. But it's not a hindrance. If you're a new shooter, safety's number one, clarity's number two. Everything else will come as you learn. You're going to gain experience with what works for your eyes. Nobody can tell you what's perfect for your eyes. Nobody can see what you see. Period. So just
and again, at these bigger events, there's all kinds of lens dealers there. No matter what the brand is, they'll let you try them on and go look at targets and stuff like that. So you can kind of select what it is that you might like, and then hopefully make a good decision and get you a set that's going to be useful for you.
Yeah. Something else we got here too, Sean, is vest versus shell bag. Now, again, this is just a preference thing. If you're going to go, there's nothing wrong with shooting with a shell bag. I guess the argument I'll make is if you're wearing a vest, you've got the same mounting surface every time. And what I mean by that is today you might have on a sweatshirt, tomorrow you might have on a cotton t-shirt. Maybe the next day that you shoot, you're going to have on one of those, like dry fit. It's like a silky type material. You know what I'm talking about, Sean? And the vest doesn't care. Every time you put that vest on, you're going to get the same mounting surface.
Right.
So that's one of the advantages of a vest. The other thing too, we're partial to Bear Pelt. They were with us a long time ago, and we still shoot in Bear Pelts. Again, it's one of those things we talked about. Even if the sponsor leaves us, we're still going to continue using the product because we believe in it. And Sean Alley, one thing I'll say about that is you're of the larger mammal type human being. And
what are you kidding me?
No. Have you looked in the mirror?
What are you saying? What are you saying, Jay?
I'm just saying you're a little larger statue than me, and you had trouble. I remember way back in the day, you had trouble getting a vest that fit you because
I did.
By the time you got something, because you're not only big but you're tall.
Yeah. And
by the time you got something that fit you tall wise, it was like you were wearing a nightgown. Like the thing was like somebody wrapped a tent around you, right?
And a lot of these things had like the Velcro straps and stuff on them where you can, tighten them up here and there. But I tell you what, man, it's hard to get a good fit on stuff like that. Like when you make something that's fully adjustable like that,
right?
You can dial it in, but I'll tell you, and again, I'm biased. There's nothing more comfortable than throwing on a Bear Pelt vest, and it feels like you're just walking around in a t-shirt. It's awesome.
Well, but it's more of like a fitted vest, if you will.
Yeah.
Right? And of course, it's cool because you can customize or whatever. And some people don't care about that. I see people wearing plain Jane Bear Pelts with not even their name on them. And that's fine. But if you did want to do something cool, they've got dye sublimation. And I know that there's other vest companies now that are jumping on that bandwagon, and they're doing dye sublimation too. And there are some other good quality vests out there. Again, only speaking from experience. All my years with Bear Pelt, I've never had a zipper failure. I've never had a pocket tear or rip. Never had a fabric come undone. I've never had fading. I mean, the thing I can't say it always fit because I go up and down in weight like a yo-yo. So that's my own fault. Sometimes I have to dig through do the gear bag and go, okay, wait a minute, that one doesn't fit anymore. I got to wear this one. So, but when you get fitted to a Bear Pelt, it's like a glove that's made for you.
Yeah. And again, there's nothing against shell bags because back in the day when I was shooting with a standard shooting vest, in the summertime, they're kind of hot and heavy, right? Because the materials they use, that canvas, and sometimes they got leather on them and stuff. So in the summertime, when we get hot here in Ohio, June, July, August, I would switch out to a shell bag. So there's nothing wrong with a shell bag, but typically, they can be a little heavy to make you feel weighted down on one side, unless you're just really used to that feeling. And there's a lot of guys that shoot shell bags. Our buddy JD is one of them. He will not wear a vest to save his life. But I think that, it's a preference thing for me. When I put the vest on, I've got plenty of pockets. I can store my chokes. I can store my shells. I can store, whatever I want on the vest. and it evenly distributes the weight across my body versus having a big shell bag with a box of shells and a couple other things in it. And it feels like one side of your body's, lurching to one side like you're carrying a load or something.
That might work out good for you, Sean. You got that GIMP going on. Maybe you can just put the shell bag on the outside.
Oh, like weight it on the other side. Maybe takes. Okay, yep. I haven't tried that yet. We'll have to give that a go.
Well, it kind of helps. Put 3 more boxes of shells in it. It'd be all right.
Yeah. So, just even it out on that side. It's like doing an alignment on a car.
And that's again, and this is not an advertisement. I mean, Bear Pelt is not sponsoring us right now, but they do have pouches as well.
Yeah.
And those are cool because you can completely customize them also. There are some companies out there that make some of the most beautiful leather shell pouches I've ever seen. The work, the leather work and the customizing is just absolutely beautiful. So yeah, there's options out there, but you need to do what's best for you. We just wanted you to understand your options. Last thing real quick, and this is not of any great importance either, but kind of look around a little bit and think before you buy a gear bag, because I've been through a couple of them. Sean got me this awesome one. I think GPS made that one, Sean.
I think so, yeah.
And it's so cool because it's got every little compartment. You would be surprised the people that we still run across to this day out on the course. They didn't have a choke tube wrench. They didn't have eye drops. They didn't have any aspirin. They didn't have
gun grease,
a multi-tool, a gun grease, oil, an extra spring or something. You know what I mean? Like, we run across this constantly. And if you get the right, and now listen, I'm not saying you need to carry a Snap-on toolbox out in the field with you. I'm just saying if you get a good gear bag that's going to put everything in it that you feel you need, so when you go shooting a tournament, you have that confidence that I'm ready to go. I have complete confidence in my gear. I've got backup, this, that, the other, whatever, snacks. I don't care what it is, but get a gear bag that'll hold what you need. And don't take it to the extreme, because I still shoot with people that's like, man, did you bring the kitchen sink? Because you brought everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, holy cow, man, we're shooting 100 targets here today. We're not going through, the beaches of Normandy here. I mean, what are you bringing?
Well, and if you've noticed, Jay, there's, a couple different styles of gear bags. I mean, a lot of them are like the carry bags, like that you see all the time, but there's also backpack versions. So if you're a guy that maybe doesn't have a buggy or doesn't typically rent a golf cart, having a backpack version might be a little bit easier to walk around the course with versus carrying a gun in one hand and a gear bag in the other. So we see a lot of people that run the backpack styles. And again, it's all personal preference. It's all revolving around how you shoot and, whether you like to hike or whether you like to ride in a golf cart. But again, no wrong answers here. Just experience that Jason and I have come across, things we've seen, people we know that shoot with different things, and they all have different reasons why. Again, it's not a right or wrong thing. It's just make sure that whatever you get, whether it's a gun, chokes, the shells you shoot, the gear you wear, eyes, ears, shell bags, make sure it's going to work for you and try it out. Do some research, talk to other people that have these things before you go putting your money down on the counter to buy them. Because again, if you do it and you don't do any research, you might have buyer's remorse, and nothing sucks more than spending money on something that's going to sit in the corner and collect dust. Hey,
something I want to make a quick announcement. I would like to welcome Gun and Trophy Insurance to the Dead Pair podcast.
Yes.
They did the podcast with us here recently. If you haven't listened to it, do yourself a favor, go back and listen. You'd be amazed the amount of people that are saving money with way better coverage than what they had before. And Larry and Cole Cushman have reached out to us. They would like to work with us. They're also helping out the guys at Trap Talk from Back Fence, which is Ricky Marshall Jr. and Zach Nannini. They help out a lot of pro shooters, and they wanted to help us out, and greatly, greatly appreciative. Two absolutely fine gentlemen. And they've got, again, a product that is awesome.
Yes.
I mean, the amount of coverage that you get. Quick story on that, Sean, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So I talked to Cole, and he was telling me a gentleman had an extensive gun collection, okay? Like 7 figures, right? Like, this is big. He was getting ready to ship a very high-end firearm back to Germany for some custom work. The insurance on shipping was going to cost him $1,200. And he said, you don't need to do that. And the gentleman said, what do you mean? And Cole said, your insurance that you now have with us covers the shipping of that firearm. He said, you got to be kidding me. He said, no. He said, you know, with what I paid you in premium, you just saved me $850 on shipping this firearm. I said, yes.
Yeah.
He said, and all your guns are covered for the year with that premium.
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, we're not the experts on this, okay? Give Larry or Cole Cushman a call at Gun and Trophy Insurance. Their link is now right down in the podcast description. Very easy to find. They, click on their link, go to their website. The best thing I can tell you is if you're not sure, pick up the phone and call them.
Yeah.
Okay? Because they're going to walk you through it. They're going to explain the coverages. You're going to be amazed at how much coverage you can get for what little bit of premium it is. I mean, I'm getting outstanding coverage, like way better than I would ever hoped for a fraction of what I was paying.
Yeah.
So,
and Jason, I'll also interrupt you real quick. I think we've got 4 or 5, maybe 6 emails from people that have done the switch. They've either picked up the insurance and they thanked us for that and said what great guys they are to work with.
Yes.
So that always makes you feel good, especially when you're steering people in the right direction. So it's not just us. I mean, they are really, really nice guys to work with and very knowledgeable on the insurance thing.
Well, Sean, it's all about helping people. That's why we started this podcast, and we've got some really, truly great people helping us. I mean, we mentioned Kolar. We love our Kolar shotguns.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you to the Mainland family that owns Kolar for helping us out. We couldn't be more proud and humbled to have you on board with us. We mentioned Fiocchi. We love us some Fiocchi shells. We really do. Listen, I, to this day, have not had a Fiocchi that was a misfire or a dud or a squib load. And Sean, you know how many shells I shoot a year.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Definitely.
Again, welcome Gun and Trophy Insurance. Thank you to Larry and Cole Cushman. Atlas Traps. That's one of the things we didn't talk about with gear. If you're a homeowner that has some room, you can stretch your legs a little bit and you want to practice at home, get a hold of me. Be happy to help you out with an Atlas trap. If your club's got some broken down traps or they're in, dire need of maintenance and maybe a replacement, give me a call. Be more than happy to help.
And let's not forget one of our biggest sponsors from the get-go, RE Ranger. They've been with us from the start.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, thank you very much to the Ranger family. I mean, they've been great with us. Sarah, I hope you're listening. We appreciate everything that you've done for us. And then Sean Alley, Rhino Chokes.
Oh, yeah. Scott Dixon and all the family there. Fantastic people. Once again, I know we keep saying this, that they're fantastic people, but they are. They really are. And you can go up and talk to them when they got the Rhino rig out of the chute, and they will actually, work on your gun. They'll take care of whatever you need done. And they've got an awesome selection of great chokes that'll pretty much fit the bill for anybody out there and how you shoot.
And then let's not forget that crazy old bird himself.
Yes.
Thank you very much to Neil Chadwick and the folks at Long Range. Thank you for helping us out. They make, in my opinion, far superior, the best electronics in the business. If you're a club or individual and you're looking for any kind of electronic trap equipment, get a hold of the folks at Long Range. Of course, being an Atlas dealer, we're also Long Range exclusive, so get a hold of me. I can help you out. Taconic Distillery, Sean Alley. Are you enjoying yourself a bourbon tonight? What are you drinking over there?
I've got myself some of the old-fashioned mix, as a matter of fact. That stuff is good. It's just easy. You know what I mean? You pop the bottle, throw it on some ice, and it's good to go.
It's too easy.
It is. It's too easy. It's way too easy.
Yes, my wife is going to have a talk with Paul if I don't behave.
Yeah,
so.
Right. Right.
So, but no, thank you to everybody over at Taconic. Listen, we've got a lot of great people that help us out, and we're here to help all of you out. So don't hesitate. If you have a question for a coach, like I said, send it in to us. Probably here by the end of the year, we're going to do, hopefully we got enough questions. We can do a 2-part episode or 2-part series, 2 episodes back to back of questions for the coaches. We're going to dial up a whole bunch of pros and get a whole bunch of answers to your questions. So
yeah,
don't hesitate to get a hold of us. Now, if you listen through The link I put up on social media, which is the Buzzsprout link, or if you're listening through Apple Podcast, there is a contact button there. It says send us a text. Just remember, if you use that, we cannot see your number. We cannot see who you are. We have no way of responding to that. That's just, you're basically just sending us a message. So if you want a return contact or anything like that, make sure you leave that information in there.
Yeah.
Again, you can go to our website, hit the contact button, which is thedeadpair.com. Hit the contact button. You can email us directly. Find us on social media. We're all over the place. So get a hold of us. Send us those questions.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And again, we've got all these guys and gals at our disposal. So hopefully get some big names on here. We'll get your questions answered and keep continuing to spread the knowledge and the love of the game.
Hey, listen, if we're running late, we got to get Mr. Kevin DeMichiel on for questions for the coaches.
Do it.
The Dead Pair.
All right, we got Kevin DeMichiel back on to answer a few more questions. Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing great. How are y'all?
I'm finding frog hair split 3 ways.
Well, since we last talked to you, Kevin, have the fish been biting any?
It's a little hot. You got to wait till right at dark. But, yeah, they're always biting in Georgia somewhere. Always.
Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what, let's get your brain back around to shooting a little bit because we've got a couple questions for you if you're ready.
Yep.
So I've got the first one here. A guy named Patrick asks, in the past, I have missed many easy targets and wait too long to shoot. Yesterday, I closed my left eye and could see the target clearly and hit 10 in a row. What is the long-term solution for this other than closing an eye?
Kevin's laughing.
All right.
He's like, he knows where this is going.
you don't even know how much I deal with this one, right? Like this is like this is like a hot topic. All right. So basically a couple of things going on here. All right. So first off, if that guy that asked the question is truly right eye dominant, okay, if he is truly right eye dominant, he's a right-handed shooter and he's having to wink that eye down. What he's doing is basically what I preach. He is increasing muzzle awareness, but he's forcing it because he's closing his left eye. Because now all of a sudden, when you close that left eye, your right eye is looking right down the barrel. Okay. So what I do in that situation, I'm like, all right, we're going to accomplish the same thing, but we're going to do it with both eyes open. Okay. And we need to figure out what that looks like to you because I can't see through your eyes. Okay. So for me, if we consider it like a nothing lead bird or a charity bird or something like that, my muzzle awareness may be as great as 50-50. All right. I may be seeing as much gun as I am bird or 60-40. Maybe let's just call bird a little more than barrel. All right. I don't want anybody to think I'm aiming or whatever you want to call it. But what's happening with that guy is he has heightened his muzzle awareness. That's why he's able to kill that bird that's doing nothing. When you got a bird with some speed and distance and you got a big pattern to play with, you don't need a lot of muzzle awareness. You don't have time for a lot of muzzle awareness. But a lot of these birds that are straight at it leads, that's why these guys have gotten so much better, in my opinion. They know how to see the gun the right way. And that's what's happening with that. Now, if it's an eye dominance issue, that's a whole nother ball of wax. I'm not a fan of closing an eye. So I'd be more of, let's make sure it's an eye dominant issue. If it is, then I would put a dot over the eye, or if they're young, I might try to swap them over, which that's real tough. I've only been successful with that 3 or 4 times, but yeah, that's basically what he's doing when he closes the eyes. He's heightened muzzle awareness to be more precise with his shot, but it can be done with 2 eyes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This next question, Kevin, I don't know if you caught it or not. I think he's referring to, we just had Ben Huswaite on recently for an episode, and he was talking about ways you can, create tournament pressure in training. But Blake here says, Ben recently offered good advice on how to apply tournament pressure for training with other people, but how can you apply tournament pressure when training solo?
Yeah. So one way I like to do that's great. I like that. So one thing about practice is you can feel like you're wasting time. You can feel like when you get done, you're like, I didn't accomplish anything. I want to feel like I've got that tournament pressure. So what I would do, for the guy that asked the question is, if he's got some local clubs and he's not able to attend the tournaments, or maybe he was able to attend the tournaments, what I would do if I was shooting by myself, I'd go on Score Chaser and I'd say, hey, what's the number over here at Big Red Oak for the last tournament? Okay. Number's 95. All right. Or maybe he's in C class and the number is 75. So now all of a sudden he knows the number he's got to beat. Okay. Now he's going to go out there, shoot the pairs like he was in the tournament, and really, really try to lock down and beat that number. Is that going to recreate it exactly? No, but it's about as good as you can do it by yourself. That's about as good as you can do it by yourself. Try to beat a number.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I want to throw one more out there, Kevin, if you don't mind. The conversation that you and I had at the Northeast Regional, and I think there's two possibilities of what's going on here, and you and I talked about it, and I'll let you elaborate. So just so everybody knows, the question I had for Kevin, we went out and shot the blue course, which was the harder of the two courses, I believe, and in fact, it scored lower across the board. And there were some pretty big targets on that course. And in typical Jason Rambo fashion, I ran the towers, I ran the hard stuff, and all my, like 90% of my misses came from things that I shouldn't have missed, things that were inside of 25, 30 yards.
Yeah.
Kevin, I kind of had the theory that maybe I didn't put the effort into those targets that I should have, but you had another theory on that. You want to explain that conversation we had and what you were thinking?
Yeah, so there's that, like what you said, like that is true. Okay, so maybe you get up there and you see those hard birds, and you really want to lock in and focus, and then this, that, and the other, and you kill the long birds, and then all of a sudden, you get up to one that's easy, and you may let off, right? So that's what makes somebody like Brandon Powell or Matt Reese or Keembaum or Corey, any of those guys is. They're going to treat those soft birds just like they're going to treat that big bird. That they're like, I don't care what these 100 targets are. We're giving it our all on every damn one of them. I've seen Anthony sit up there and do his little swaying back and forth and getting his shells right. And I'm like, dude, those are 7-yard incomers. But he's still putting in his same effort into it. Right now, what me and you talked about. It's kind of like the question before, as far as those bigger lead birds. Okay, you can get away with getting some gun movement and sticking it out, especially on Rick's course. Man, some of those birds took big gaps. Okay, and you got a big pattern to play with, and you get out on the front end of it, and you have some success. But then all of a sudden, you go to Joe Skull's course, and you got some right at it targets. So again, it's a lot to do with muzzle control, being able to slow down, match the speed. Muzzle awareness, not getting too handsy, and really being able to adapt to the presentation that's given to you. Because we had a wide variety of birds in Ohio. I mean, like every end of the spectrum. It was well rounded. So again, not to beat a dead horse, but I feel like the reason the sport's got better, one of the reasons, not the only reason, one of the reasons it's gotten better is because people have learned that it's not just see the bird, kill the bird. There's more to it. There's muzzle awareness. There's connection. There's spend time with the target, see the target. That sort of thing. So basically, for your question, we talked basically about slowing down, seeing a better picture with the gun in the picture, and hooking up to the bird.
Yeah, going back to that muzzle awareness too.
Absolutely.
Well, that's definitely good advice. I tell you what, I think most of us probably in Jason's shoes will focus on the hard birds because we know they're going to be hard, and then it's like we let our guard down on those easy ones, and boy, that's the one they'll bite you in the butt.
Right. And the other thing about a hard bird too is you get up there and in the right mindset, you kind of shoot it carefree because you're like, well, everybody's probably gonna miss one. Well, then you go to the one that they're giving to you, you're like, shit, I got to break this one. I got to hit this one. And then that can cause a pressure that you didn't get, so yeah. Dude, there's all kind of things that goes through your head out there, like all kinds.
Yeah. Kevin, if anybody's down in Georgia and wants to take a lesson from you, remind everybody real quick how they get a hold of you.
Yeah, so they can go to kdshooting.com. They can call the Meadows Clay Sports in Forsyth, Georgia. they'll hook you up, or you can just call me direct at 478-256-1894. Facebook, you can look Instagram, whatever. I'm available.
Okay. We'll make sure and put your information down in the podcast description too. They can find it that way easy enough. You got any big clinics or anything coming up, Kevin?
Billy talked about, I got to nail him down when we're fishing. But Bill and Bill were talking about our next one going to be at, I think he said Nashville. So I gotta nail that one down. But we had talked about it a couple weeks ago. So besides that, I'm sure we will have at least one more at the Meadows before the end of the summer.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks again for joining us, Kevin. Appreciate it. It's always fun to have you on. And if anybody has any questions for or any coach for that matter, get a hold of us. We'd love to get Kevin back on when he's not out fishing, and we'll get your questions answered. Kevin, thank you again, man. Sincerely appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, buddy.
The Dead Pair.
Well, Sean, I'm glad we were able to catch Kevin between fishing holes.
Yeah, he does a lot of that, doesn't he? I think one of his favorite fishing partners is old Bill McGuire.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
Those two in a boat, I'd love to be a fly on the wall just to hear some of the stuff that is talked about.
Listen, I don't need to take a poll. I just need a glass at the Conant Distillery, and I'm going to sit there and listen to the stories, because I'm going to tell you what. I probably my ab, that would be my ab workout for the day, dude, because I'd just be laughing so hard. So
yeah, he's always great to have on, and we appreciate Kevin for spending some time with us. Thank you, Kevin, for doing that.
Yeah.
But Jason, I'll tell you what, this has been like one of those episodes again. It's been a long time since we kind of talked nuts and bolts on the gear and on the guns and everything else that kind of goes into shooting this sport and what you kind of need to be leaning towards. And again, this is just Jason and I's opinion, and also our experience has kind of led us down a couple different paths the more we got involved in this game. So we just wanted to share that for all the people out there that are new to the sport, which we love you. And again, that's the main premise of this whole show, is to bring new shooters into the sport and welcome you guys in. We want to be able to hopefully steer you in the right direction so that you don't spend money in the wrong way, and make good financial decisions when you're purchasing these big ticket items.
And if you're an experienced shooter already, hopefully we raised some kind of a point today that made you kind of think, maybe I can improve on this or that, maybe I need to try this or that on my gear. So who knows, right? Anyway, we're here to make you scratch your head. So
that's right.
But
well, and the message is every week, like we say, Jason, take somebody new shooting. That's the whole point of this show. Take somebody new shooting, introduce them to the game, put a gun in their hand, take them to a charity shoot, take them to your club. Just let them experience what this game is all about and let it sell itself. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It can be done by anybody, either sex, all ages. Doesn't take a super athletic person to do it. I mean, it is a pretty even keel game that anybody can participate in for the most part.
Yep, 100%. And, it's the only way this game's going to grow is if we keep introducing new people to it, because otherwise it's not relatable, right?
No.
It's not something that, until here as of lately, it's not something that's done in high schools. And even then it's few and far between. So It's not something that's relatable that, people are going to watch or participate in if they've never been introduced to it properly.
Yeah, and it's not like it's advertised on TV, and you're not going to be looking for YouTube videos of sporting clays or FETASC or skeet or trap shooting unless you're involved in the sport already or know somebody who is. Right. So, yeah, take them out, introduce them to the game, show them why we love it so much, and then watch the smile on their face when they break that target, and then take them to a tournament. Let them check that out. Amen. I think I've heard that somewhere. Somebody I know says that every once in a while. Oh, shoot. Well, we appreciate everybody listening. And again, our whole goal is to try to keep more people getting involved in the shoot. And we'll keep bringing this back to you guys week after week with podcast content, hopefully that you'll find interesting and also informative. And a little entertaining. But we can't promise that. Sean Alley, remind me next week to tell everybody about me leaving my gun at home at the Ohio State shoot. Oh, good Lord. Okay. Well, we'll dedicate 10 minutes to that story because that is a doozy. Oh, that my goodness. Well, you might have to call up Chad to get the inside commentary on that one. All right. Let's get rolling, Sean. Until next week, my friend. Can't wait to see you all back here on the Dead Pair Podcast.
We'll see you next time on the Dead Pair Podcast.
The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Kolar Arms, the mark of performance, and is fueled by Fiocchi USA. The Dead Pair theme song was written, arranged, and produced by Toby Tomplay. Special thanks to the following sponsors: Atlas Traps, Ranger Performance Eyewear, Rhino Chokes, Long Range LLC, Taconic Distillery, Score Chaser, and Clay Range Design Works.